Hey guys, welcome back. I have another fun video this week that's not a vlog. I'm going to be answering questions about Florence and study abroad. I've been here for 11 weeks now, almost 12, and I have about a month left. So I feel like I know a little bit about Florence after being here for so long, so I'm excited to answer the questions. Okay, so I asked on my Instagram story for questions about Florence and my experience studying abroad. So follow me on Instagram so you can see when I post those. And I got some good responses and I'm gonna answer them now. So one of the first ones I got was, will I ever come back to Florence? I don't know. I really, really like Florence. I love Florence. I love being here. But there's just so many other places in the world that I've never gone that I would want to go before I came back to Florence. And that kind of makes me feel like I might not come back. It's nothing against Florence though. It's just there's other places that I want to go before I would come back here. Plus, my other thing is I think this is a great place to study abroad. Vacationing though, like if I was just doing like a week here, I honestly don't know what I would do, especially since I've already done most of the stuff in Florence. I think it's a great place to come for like a trip, but I don't know if I'd be able to do a lot that's new if I came back after being here for 4 months studying abroad, if that makes sense. What's been my favorite part and my least favorite part? My favorite part has been traveling. I've been going to a bunch of other countries and just different places in Italy. And it's really easy to do in Florence because it's so central. It's very central to Italy, and then it's really close to a lot of the countries that I've gone. I've gone to France, I've gone to Spain, Switzerland, Hungary, and Austria. Austria, that's what I meant. And I've basically just gone all around Italy. So that's really nice. And then I'm also going to Germany, which is also like right there. And it's pretty easy. I haven't flown to any of the places. I've either took a train or bused there, which busing, it's a long time, especially from here to Paris. It was like a long journey, but it was worth it. It was cheap. People like to say it's like really cheap. It's not insanely cheap, but it's easy and cheaper than if you were like coming from the US. And then my least favorite part, honestly, probably the homework. That's the biggest thing. I wish it was warmer here, but like it's the beginning of the year, so I knew it wasn't gonna be super warm. It's gonna start getting warm like right when I leave. But I also feel like that's a good thing because we don't have air conditioning and I feel like I would get tired of the heat. So yeah, that and then the homework. Also, there's a few, like we don't have a dishwasher or like they don't have dryers here. So like hang drying my clothes has been like awful. Mainly because they just feel weird after and like it takes longer obviously. But the most annoying thing I think is that it just takes up space. Like I have to have a whole drying rack in my room. It just takes up so much space. And then the clothes feel weird. And then hand washing everything like dish-wise because we don't have a dishwasher. But like those are such like first world problems to have. So I'm not really complaining. Those are just kind of like some of the things. I have a lot of questions about my favorite food here. And I honestly, this is gonna sound crazy, but I haven't really gone to like a ton of restaurants and like tried a bunch of different foods. I've had a lot of different kinds of pasta, and then I've had a few different kinds of pizza. So I think that's kind of my answer with pasta. The pasta's really good. I love pasta though, and I've tried a bunch of different kinds. I've tried gnocchi the first time here, which is really good. And I tried carbonara, which I've never had before here also, which was really good. But I guess, okay, honestly, favorite food though, I just changed my answer, low-key gelato. It's so good. Especially if you get like the real authentic gelato. It's so good. And there's so many different flavors. So that is like one of the questions I had about the food here. But then I also have, is the food better? I would say, obviously the Italian food is better, but I feel like there's not as big of a variety here. But I've been to, like I said, I haven't been to a ton of restaurants. I went to like a Mexican restaurant one time. It was really good. I would say the Italian food is better than the Italian food in America. But the other food, I would say is pretty equal. Like if you went to a Mexican restaurant in the US and then went to a Mexican restaurant here, I think they'd be pretty similar. They're all really good though. I've gotten wings here, which are good, but not as good as in the US. So it just depends on what it is, but obviously like Italian food's better. Yes. The pizza is also really good. There's a lot of different like stores around me that have pizza. So I've tried a few different kinds. It's thinner, that's like how the Italian pizza is, and it's really good. So that's my take on that one. Another question that I've gotten about food is like my favorite place to eat, and then like what I like to order at the restaurants. So I've gone to this place called Trattoria Zaza, and everyone says that it's like a tourist trap. So like you shouldn't go, like it's not authentic, but it's really good. So I've gone twice, and one time I ordered just like regular spaghetti, and then another time I ordered gnocchi with like this cheese sauce, and it was really good. So my go-to order at like most places is just regular spaghetti. But my favorite place to eat is Trattoria Zaza. And then there's also this place called Napoli Pizza, which is really good, and they can make the pizza in hearts. That's been my favorite pizza that I've had here. And there's a lot of sandwich shops. The sandwiches are really, really good. Here's a picture of me eating one. This one specifically is from like a really popular chain restaurant, but there's a ton of places in Florence that sell sandwiches similar, and they're really good. That's also like a top food. Might even be a little better than pasta. It's so good. Okay, next I have go-to gelato order. So the place that I normally go to for gelato is called Grom, and they have this flavor called Cremino, which is like Nutella. It's like a hazelnut chocolate mix. And I don't know if that shop calls it Cremino or if that's the universal flavor for it, because they have it at a bunch of different gelato places, but that's my favorite. It's basically Nutella, and it's so good. And like sometimes they'll put like actual hazelnuts in it. It's fire, not even gonna lie. And I just tried like this Biscoff one. That was really good. That one was from the Central Market, which has pretty good gelato too. Grom's my favorite though. But I need to try more places. I keep going to the same ones because I know they're good, but Grom's really good. Cremino is my favorite flavor. Next, I have the hardest part of living abroad. I feel like I should say being away from my family is hard, but whenever I'm at school, I'm normally not with my family that much anyway during a regular semester. So it's not that different being like away from my family. So I'm gonna say not having a car is the hardest part, because I love my car. I love my car so much. I love driving it and then listening to my music. And so many good songs have come out while I'm here, and I can't just like drive in my car and listen to them. That is probably the hardest thing, because I just love my car. Also, my car had like all these problems while I've been gone, but they've like been fixed, hopefully. I just don't think any of those things would have happened if I was home. My car misses me, what can I say? My car, that's what I miss. Or hardest part of living abroad is not having a car. And then that also brings me to my next question, which is how much walking do you do a day? It honestly just depends on what I'm doing. Florence is pretty walkable. Like you can walk pretty much anywhere. They don't have like a subway. They do have a tram though. And from my apartment, I would say the longest walk I've ever had to do is like 30 minutes to get somewhere, and that's very rare. The school is like 5 minutes from me, so it's like a really short walk. And like back at main campus, like in the States, I had almost a 25-minute walk from my dorm to my classes. So this is honestly going to classes, it's a lot less walking, but in general, it's more walking because I'm walking everywhere, as opposed to like in the States, I would drive to like the store. Here I walk there. So it just depends. Weekdays, I don't do that much because I'm normally working on school stuff. Weekends, a lot more, like going on hikes. They have a lot of like mountains. Obviously, you can like go up in the hills, and that's really fun. So that's that. There's not too much walking, like to class, but more in general, yes. And they have like these cobblestone streets, which is like kind of hard. And sometimes they're like really small and there's just so many people. So the more you get out of like the city center, the calmer it gets. And the easier it is to walk, honestly. Okay, next I have my favorite place to visit. There is this place called Piazzale Michelangelo. I think I said that right, I don't even know. And it's like you hike up this hill, and then they have like this garden and stuff. I literally just went there yesterday actually, and it was so pretty. And like the view is really pretty. I also really like just going across the bridge by the Arno River. That's really pretty, especially if you go a little farther down the river. You go on like the bridge where it's not so busy, so there's not as many people. So that is also a good place to like walk, I guess. To visit though, I went to Uffizi Gallery here, which is like a really popular museum, and they had like a lot of really cool paintings that I liked. So that was really cool to see, like building wise, I guess. Or I guess place to visit in Italy. I'm expanding on this question. Outside of Florence, my favorite place has been Rome. I really, really liked Rome. It's crowded because like it's popular, but also it's the Jubilee this year, so that made it a little busier, but it was still really cool. Like it's a really cool place to just like walk around. There's so much to see there. So outside of Italy, Rome's been my favorite to visit. What's the most beautiful thing I've seen so far? So like I said, hiking up the hill, that is literally gorgeous. It's so pretty, especially if you go when the weather's good. There's just all of this greenery. And then you can also see like all of like the city center. So you can see like the Duomo, and like if you look the other way, you can see like just like a bunch of greenery and like these trees, and it's really pretty. But also like in general, studying abroad, seeing the Eiffel Tower sparkle was so cool. I went every single night I was in Paris, and I don't regret it at all. It was the coolest thing ever. It was so pretty, and I need to go back and see it again. But specifically in Florence, going up the hill, Piazzale Michelangelo, really, really pretty. One other question that I got is, how is the living situation? So with my school, we apply and then we live in apartments, but we don't have to apply for like the specific apartment. The school kind of figures that out for us. So I live in an apartment. Pretty much everyone else studying abroad lives in an apartment. I'm on the third floor, which in Italy is like the fourth floor because the first floor is 0. So it's 0, 1, 2, 3. So I'm on 3. But there is an elevator in my building, which is rare for Italian buildings. So I got kind of lucky with that. And there's 2 other apartments on this floor. So there's not even like a ton of people in the building. However, there are these people 2 stories down from me. They're so loud. And they like open their window to like the courtyard, and it's so loud. But other than that, the living situation is great. My location specifically is really close to a lot of things, which is nice. It's really close to the school. And I would say my apartment's pretty nice. It's really hit or miss. I've heard some people have really, really small apartments that are awful, and some people have these huge ones that are like multiple stories. I've heard so many different things. I would say mine's a pretty good one though. I have 4 other roommates, and then we have 4 bedrooms. So there's 5 people, 4 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, and then we have a living room and a kitchen in my apartment, which is pretty nice. So I have a room to myself, which I feel like is not that common, but like it really is just hit or miss. My living situation's pretty good. But I think in general, you're like, if you are planning on coming to Italy, you're probably not even gonna be at your apartment that much because there's so many places that you can do homework and just like walk around. There's so much to do. So there's that. And then I also, that brought me back to one of the questions. One of the questions, what's my favorite place to visit? I'm circling back to that. There's this place called Odeon, which is like, it's a cinema and a bookstore. And it's so cool. So during the day, it's a bookstore and they have just movies playing on this big screen. And then at night, they turn into like an actual movie theater. So you can like get tickets and like go and watch a movie. And it's such a good place to go do homework. And it's so like relaxing. And then there's just movies playing. So it's really, really cool. It's also really pretty inside. And it's a nice little walk from my apartment. So there's that. Then my last question, which makes me laugh, is how awesome is Italy? Italy's really, really cool. All of the places that I've gone in Italy have all been different, but the same, if that makes sense. Like they all have a similar vibe, but there's so many different things to do in all of them. So overall, Italy is really cool. I've seen a lot and I still haven't even seen like half of it, which is like crazy. But there's a lot to do, like there's a lot to see in Florence, and then you can also go to like Pisa and Rome and Milan and Venice from here, and it's like maximum 2 hours on the train. So you can really see a lot, and I think that's what's cool about Italy, is there's so many different places in Italy that are so fascinating. So Italy's pretty awesome. And that's the end of the video this week. I hope you guys liked it, and I hope it was helpful maybe to people. I don't know. Like I said, don't forget to follow me on Instagram if I ask more questions on my story for videos. But overall, that's the end of the video. I hope you liked it, and subscribe. See you next week. Bye.